It is day 2 of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. It's happening live at the Accra International Conference Center. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumlemle. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up tonight, more dignitaries, including former presidents Kufuor and Nana Akufo-Addo, as well as Liberia's Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, flocked to Nana Konadu's residence to offer condolences to the Rawlings family and celebrate the country's late former First Lady. Also tonight, a Ghanaian citizen petitions the governing board of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to provide detailed information about the academic qualification and professional appointment of the Commission's Director General, Professor Ahmed Jimalapo Abdullahi. We have details here on Joy News Prime. We have more as the main sponsor of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, EcoBank PLC, is providing valuable offers at the ongoing event at the Accra International Conference Center. And later in the bulletin, we'll bring you the curious case of Kumasi Anglican SHS, a team that won, advanced to the 1-8 stage, and yet walked off stage visibly unimpressed. We have details of that and more here on Joy News Prime. My name is Faustina Savo. Please take a seat and be my guest.
It will be attractive.
Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. We start with leaders from across the world, and they are flocking to the residence of the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, to offer condolences to the family and pay respect to the life and legacy of a true icon. Former presidents, politicians, and advocates are all paying tributes to Nana Konadu's tireless work in promoting women's rights and empowerment. Nana Konadu passed away at the Ridge Hospital on Thursday at age 76. The government has declared 3 days of mourning and directed all national flags to be flown at half-mast at public institutions, diplomatic missions, and government facilities, both in Ghana and abroad. Fatal Bayaga reports.
Several mourners gathered at the family home of the late former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. The grief among those present was palpable as they consoled the bereaved family. Former President of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, expressed that Nana Konadu was like a family to her.
Almost like family, because I've had the opportunity to come to her in a family setting, to sit with them and talk with them. I'm particularly blessed that her daughter, the oldest one, is one of our major women leaders that we look to for the potential of her leadership in the future.
Other dignitaries, including Education Minister Haruna Idrisu and Attorney General Dominic Ayeni, stated that Nana Konadu's legacy cannot be underestimated.
Her organization, the 31st December Women's Movement, played in the enactment of one of the most transformative laws, in the social history of this country, and that is the Interstate Succession, law, PNDC law 111. Which is still the governing law on intestacy. And intestacy is the situation where somebody dies without a will. And that law has affected, in a very positive way, the lives, of women in particular, where their husbands have died intestate.
Incredibly shocking, but naturally to be accepted. God does what he wills. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, stalwart and founding member of the National Democratic Congress, She played her part. She contributed immensely in the very formative and struggling years of the NDC as a party. Today, the party have birthed 2 presidents.
Later in the day, a large number of members of parliament visited the family home to pay their respects following the passing of the former First Lady. Both the majority and minority leaders expressed their condolences.
We had assembled to work when we received the message that our chairperson was unable to join us because she had an emergency. And so that got us very worried. What was the nature of the emergency? So we decided that given that our chairperson had an emergency, we had to postpone the meeting. Later in the day, we saw reportage on social media and later by some traditional media houses regarding what the emergency was. We did not believe it. We were shocked. And so we could not even really sit in the house yesterday.
Yamamino wababe sum oman Ghana. Sa First Lady ekwenyano oma emu yedu. Obi adi wan dance yesusano yete Beijing conference no ne emba no kan emba asem ne duku a obo ochre emba said the beya ye bekata ye no friend to ma am didi say emba bebre sue bibi efri no ho.
The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun-Ketia, emphasized that Nana Konadu played a crucial role in the formation of the party.
NDC, Mameno, a come on near NDC Kuno. Rooms actually a Koti party for Friday. By history or hot there, he wouldn't say, or come on near Kuno.
Former Presidents Nana Addo Dankwa and John Agyeman-Rawlings also visited the bereaved family to express their condolences. For Joy News, Fatao Bayaga, Accra.
Well, let's head now to Kumasi, where a poignant reminder of a bygone era stands tall. The last remaining 31st December daycare center, once a proud network of 5, these centers were the brainchild of the late former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who through the 31st December Women's Movement sought to empower working mothers and champion girl-child education. In the 1980s and the 1990s, these centers were beacons of hope, providing a safe haven for children while their mothers worked, pursued their dreams and built their lives. But Joy News' Arabna Akwe reports that today, only one center remains, a testament to the enduring legacy of a woman who dared to dream big.
Today, that legacy has mostly withered. The other 4 centers at Ashtown, Edu, Asawase and Sawaba have all collapsed. Some of their structures have been taken over by residences. Others have simply vanished, overtaken by time and neglect. In some places, it is impossible to tell that the school once stood there. At Ashtown, the site of one of the closed centers, the environment tells its own story. The headmistress of a nearby school, Ashtown MA Kindergarten, Mrs. Charity Ajimandia, said the decline began when the area's poor sanitation drove parents away.
But recently, it's no more functioning, and most of the parents brought their wards to Ashtown MAKU. Currently, some of them are here. I personally wouldn't take my ward to a school where there is a refuse dump. I've tried my best writing letters to stakeholders to come and then help us, assist us. I wish they could be able to do something about it.
I am right here at the last standing 31st December Women's Movement Daycare Center in Kumasi. As we came here, classes are actually ongoing, but the teachers have been moody. Teachers there, refusing to speak on camera, mentioned the pride about keeping the founder's vision alive, even as they admit the challenges of doing so with limited support. The survival of the Bantama Center feels less like a success and more like remembrance, a final testament to what the 31st December Women's Movement once stood for. The loss of these centers is more than the decay of buildings. It is the slow passing of legacy, a dream built for women and children, now largely forgotten. For Joy News, Erabana Akwe, Kumasi.
The International Labour Organization is warning of dire consequences for Ghana's economy if the country fails to curb illegal mining and the growing involvement of children in the activity. Speaking at the launch of the Green Jobs Fair in Accra, team lead for the project, Lloyd Nungo, stressed the need for decisive action, noting that illegal mining continues to pose serious environmental and social threats, especially to young people drawn into the activity due to the lack of employment opportunities. There's more in the following report.
The International Labour Organization is warning that Ghana's economy could face serious setbacks if the government does not urgently address the illegal mining menace. This follows new reports highlighting child involvement in galamsey operations and rising unemployment figures among the youth. Speaking at a stakeholder meeting in Accra, team lead for the Green Jobs Project, Lloyd Nungo, says the situation could worsen unless young people are supported with sustainable and legal livelihood alternatives.
It affects all of us. The chemicals that they're putting in the water bodies, it gets into the plants, we all consume them. So it's not only the galamsey themselves, they are putting everyone at risk. So that is a flag. I think that goes back to the Ministry of Labour maybe, to follow up on the illegal mining and those who are using young people underage to work in those illegal mines. Yeah, so there are frameworks within the ILO internationally agreed for children, underage children working in the mines.
The Green Jobs Project, jointly funded by the European Union and implemented by Ghana's Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, aims to create decent and environmentally sustainable jobs across key sectors. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Rashid Pelpo says government is taking steps to transition persons involved in illegal mining into more productive and sustainable fields.
We have set up situations for them to be employed, creating avenues for them, giving some of them power, money and job abilities to go into their own businesses, entrepreneurship training, issues that will help them to be able to function as individuals away from the mining.
The minister further indicated that broader labor reforms are underway to tackle the country's high unemployment rate, especially among the youth.
The government of Ghana has taken deliberate steps to promote this agenda through policy frameworks such as the National Green Job Strategy 2021, which is being reviewed in 2026 to 2029, the National Determined Contributions under the UNFCCC, the National Employment Policy, the various initiatives under the Ghana Green and Circular Economy programs.
Authorities remain optimistic that the initiative will open new opportunities and accelerate Ghana's transition towards a greener and more resilient economy. Stephen Mensah's report for Joy News.
Well, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, in a major joint operation with the Ashanti Regional Security Council, has dismantled entrenched illegal mining networks within the Odan River Forest Reserve in the Ashanti region. The intelligence-led operation conducted on October 23, 2025 resulted in the arrest of 15 illegal miners and 9 armed imposters posing as national security operatives. The imposters, believed to be working under a man identified as Major Jabari, were found with a pistol, a pump-action shotgun, handcuffs, and other weapons. NIMA's officials say the team also rejected a 120,000 Ghana cedis bribe offered by individuals who arrived in luxury pickups in an attempt to secure the release of the suspects. Joining us now with more details on the arrest and bribery attempts is the spokesperson for NIMAS, Pakwesi Shandok. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. What exactly have you been finding out based on your digging? Who are these individuals that tried to bribe you?
Well, so like you rightly indicated, these individuals, having learned of the arrest, attempted to compromise their personnel as part of their conceptualization to ensure that those who had been arrested will be freed. As I speak to you, investigations are currently ongoing to dig into, first of all, who their collaborators are, their network, and the persons involved. And so I'm unable to name them or give any updates beyond what we have already communicated. But in due course, when the final outcome of the investigation is concluded, I'm sure that we'll put that info out there accordingly.
And you've also revoked some mining licenses. Tell us more about that.
So if you look at the measures by the ministry to deal decisively with the menace of illegal mining, you realize that the reformation of the licensing regime is one of the pillars that the ministry has adopted as part of efforts to address galamsey. The reviewing of licenses falls under the reformation of the licensing regime. And so this exercise basically covered a total of 1,278 small-scale licenses. At the beginning, it was evident that 316 licenses did not have any issues, but the outstanding 962 were problematic, out of which immediately 55 were promptly revoked. The outstanding 907 were the ones which, over the period, the ministry had to revoke, and now we have done 278, which logically presupposes that there is more to come. It's an exercise that the ministry is conducting under the leadership of the sector minister, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, to ensure that we sanitize the space and ensure that our fight against illegal mining takes on a more forward march. I have to add quickly that there is equally another exercise that is targeting the large-scale mining companies, because over there as well, we have recognized that there are issues and irregularities that have to be rectified. And so all of this is part of the reformation of the licensing regime. And as and when we progress, we'll continue to offer updates accordingly.
Thank you, Pakwesi Shandok. Well, away from that, the educational and academic credentials of the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapor Abdullahi, have come under scrutiny following a petition by a concerned citizen questioning the basis of his professional status. The report that we are about to watch has more.
The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapor, who has recently gained public attention for cracking down on the misuse of academic titles, is now facing scrutiny over his own credentials. Among those previously directed by GTEC to cease using such titles are Deputy Health Minister Dr. Ayinsu, CEO of the Chamber of Mines Kenneth Ashigbe, Rashid Tanko Computer NDC Central Regional Chairman Richard Kofi Esiedu, and WA Municipal Hospital's Medical Superintendent Bukari Zakari. Just days ago, GTEC also released a list of 50 local and foreign tertiary institutions it described as unaccredited, sparking public debate over what many have called Professor Jinapor's fixation with academic legitimacy. Now he finds himself under the same microscope. In a letter dated October 24, 2025, addressed to the chairman of the GTEC Governing Board, petitioner Kwame Simpe Ofori requested full details of Professor Jinapor's academic qualifications, including his terminal degree, awarding institutions, and the publications that supported his promotions to associate and later full professor. The petition cites searches on academic databases, including Google Scholar, Scopus, and ResearchGate, which reportedly found no record of peer-reviewed publications under his name. The petitioner argues that such verification is vital to ensure credibility and transparency within Ghana's tertiary education system. The letter, copied to the Minister for Education, the Public Services Commission, and the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, UEW, where Professor Jinapor previously lectured, also seeks clarification on whether his promotion to professor occurred at the University of Education in Winneba or after his appointment to GTech. The request, filed under the Right to Information Act, is described as being in the public interest.
Let's explore this further and bring in Kwame Simpil-Fore. He's author of that request that we've just taken you through. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. Have you received any official response from GTech?
Yes, I did, madam.
And what's the update, really? Have you verified some of the key informations you were seeking in that petition you wrote to them?
All right. So a number of the issues I requested for have not been addressed. First, I wasn't expecting the person who wrote the letter. I think it's procedurally wrong that they allowed their public relations officer to respond for Professor Jinapor.
So based on what you're telling us, the response you have received is from the PR department of GTech.
Yes, for Professor Jinapor. The letter was addressed to the chairman of the commission.
I see. And what exactly is their defense? Have they provided the evidence you were seeking? Just key among them.
What do you call the response? Well, they tried to do so. They tried to do.
When you say they tried to do so, what exactly did they provide you? You wanted to find out if indeed he had the qualification to parade himself as a doctor. Did they provide you that detail in the request they provided you?
Yes. Hello?
I can hear you, sir. I'm hoping we have clearer connection so that it can help with the flow of the conversation. You tell us that you have received official response from GTech signed by the Public Affairs Department. I just wanted you to break down the key things they have addressed. Based on your petition, have they provided you with enough evidence to show that indeed that Professor Ahmed Jinapor Abdullahi has all the necessary credentials to parade himself as a professor?
Not at all. Not at all. And
what have they provided you then?
I'll give you. Okay, so first they said Professor Jinapor holds a Bachelor of Arts degree a Bachelor of Arts degree from University of Ghana, a Master of Arts in International Affairs, and a Doctor of Education degree. Now, mind you, Professor Jinapor says that people with professional doctorates, which he also has, the Doctor of Education, is a professional degree, professional doctoral degree. He says that people with professional doctoral degrees are not qualified to be promoted to the rank of a professor. This is a letter coming from, the GTech, which you can verify. Now, if he also holds the same professional doctoral degree, then he shouldn't be going out calling himself a professor. Now, the second thing, I requested that they furnish me with his CV and the papers which he used to acquire his associate professorial rank. Now, mind you, the whole world over, if you are an associate professor, you don't go around calling yourself a professor. It's only full professors who are supposed to call themselves a professor. You can write you're an associate professor, but when you write, and when he writes Prof. Abdullahi Jinapor Ahmed. He's not supposed to do that. If he's going to do that, then he should write Associate Professor Abdullahi Jinapor Ahmed, right? That's the thing. Now, they didn't give me his CV and the papers which he used to get his professorial rank. But of course, I have those papers, right? And all those papers are published in predatory journals. You get it? Now, let's get to that. You see, become a professor in a university.
Yeah, and we're very well aware of the processes. I wanted to find out your next line of action as we wrap up the conversation. If you can briefly tell us.
So I've got his publications. I'm going to issue a report on his publications, and the whole world, Ghanaians will look at the kind of papers he's published. Let's all have a look at it and ask ourselves if he really, indeed, should be calling himself a professor. We know professors in Ghana. Check out Hini Jimai's, Professor Hini Jimai's credential. Check Professor Henson's credential. Check Professor Abo's credentials, right? Check the papers they have written and check the papers that Professor Jinapo says he has. And he is the one superintending over these other people. What kind of system are we operating here? Let's get serious. Are we saying that in the whole of the country we cannot get somebody better to run the GTEC?
So you're pushing for his removal. Is that the case?
Exactly. See, he is the chief, quality officer for all the universities in the country. And if he himself is not producing quality papers, the guy is a fraud. I'm telling you, he's a fraud.
Okay, those are allegations we cannot prove, but point well noted. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwame. We'll be looking forward to your next line of action and how you plan to ensure his removal. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. Away from that, with less than 100 days to the new Patriotic Party's presidential primaries, the party's leadership has issued a set of directives aimed at regulating campaign activities and maintaining internal cohesion. The guidelines, according to the leadership, are designed to safeguard party unity and ensure a fair, disciplined contest ahead of the polls in January. We will be hearing from the Deputy General Secretary of the party shortly. But first, let's listen to excerpts from the newly issued directive, all put together in this report.
In order, transparency and fair play in the internal campaign process, the party's National Secretariat has issued a set of directives governing the conduct of presidential aspirants and their supporters ahead of the upcoming primaries. According to the directive, all presidential aspirants are required to formally notify their respective regional party offices of their campaign itinerary or movement schedule before commencing activities within a region. This, the party says, is to allow for effective coordination and avoid potential overlaps or disruptions during campaign tours. Furthermore, each regional party is to designate one regional officer to accompany the presidential aspirant throughout the tour. The designated officer will be responsible for observing, documenting, and submitting a comprehensive report to the National Secretariat upon completion of the tour for administrative review and record keeping. The statement also includes a clear warning to party-appointed communicators who have been strictly barred from using party-sponsored media platforms to campaign either for or against any presidential aspirant. Any communicator found violating this directive will face immediate suspension from representing the party in the media, in addition to any disciplinary actions outlined in the party's constitution and regulations.
Join us now via Zoom is the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. I'm wondering what prompted the party leadership to issue these directives at this stage of the campaign.
First, thank you very much. I believe that political parties have the right and opportunity at the right time to choose when to issue statements and when to guide and shape our various national campaign. We as a political party have refused to play a reactive role in terms of how we deal with issues, and that is why we are being proactive in terms of how we handle issues as they emanate. The letter that we issued sought to address three issues. One is to coordinate the activities of all presidential aspirants who are crisscrossing the country as in doing their campaign. What we sought to do is that we want the regional party officers to be aware and also make sure that they don't have a clash of programs by various presidential aspirants as they move around the country. We need to synchronize and synergize all the activities of all the presidential aspirants across the country. So for us to request the timetable and the programs and for regions to be aware, I believe that is in the right direction so that at least we will give the fair playing ground, we'll give the appropriate atmosphere and be able to attend to each and every presidential aspirant across the country. As we inch towards 31st December, we need to make sure that we give the good platforms to all of them to be able to attend to. Again, we also want to know exactly what is being discussed at the various platforms as the presidential aspirant goes in. And that is why we requested that regional officers should be assigned to specific candidates when they come to the regions. And their role is to observe, very key, observe and to report so that at least we'll be able to know what is being said and what did not happen at those particular places so that we can review for administrative purposes.
Some people,
again, we are also asking.
How now you allow me at this point in time? Observe, you say, but some people might see the requirement for a regional officer accompanying a presidential aspirant during their campaign tour as potentially restrictive. So how do you plan as a political party to strike the balance, really, between maintaining oversight and allowing the aspirants freedom to campaign effectively?
I don't see how it's going to be restrictive. The presence of the regional officer cannot prevent the presidential aspirants from carrying out his or her duties. And I don't think that it is restrictive. The person is to observe. What does observance of an activity does to be able to bar somebody from the performance of the person's duty? So I don't think that there is that clause of restrictiveness. It's just that we want to have transparency and also to be able to have a coordinated activity across the country.
And you're sure this is not in response? And Haruna, you are sure this is not in response to any specific incidents that may have happened?
I don't know, unless of course you refer me to a specific incident. There has not been any incident that is warranting such a response because all of them have been going round. We have had code of conduct that is guiding the campaign. At this point in time, the national party thinks that we need to make sure that we assign officers from the various regions who are accompany to ensure that we don't have 2 candidates or 3 candidates clapping within the regions. So I don't think that is any response because we have not had any other matter that is before us. Again, if there is any other matter that is before us, we have disciplinary procedures how we deal with them. And if that is so, then we would rather use the Constitution to address that, not a statement.
Thank you so much, Haruna Mohammed, for joining us here on Joy News Prime. You're still watching Joy News Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay with us. Hello, good evening. Thank you for your time here on Joy News Prime. To more stories now, heavy equipment supplier JA Plantpool has dismissed accusations by the Attorney General that it was overpaid and involved in financial irregularities under the $178 million District Roads Improvement Program. The company insists the claims are factually inaccurate, misleading, and harmful to its reputation. The following report has more. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series on Wednesday, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, accused JA Plantpool of over-invoicing, tax evasion, and receiving an excess payment of $2 million under the DRIP contract.
JA Plantpool was overpaid by $2 million. The contract sum was $176 million United States of American dollars. On the face of the contract, that is the sum that was stated. When we examined the invoices of payments, it was $178 million that was paid. So right away, there was a difference of $2 million. So we asked that $2 million be paid back by JA Plantpool.
In a statement issued on Friday, JA Plantpool described the AG's claims as factually incorrect. On the first allegation of overpayment, the company explains that a contract signed on February 12, 2024, government agreed to purchase 240 units of earth-moving equipment at a total cost of $178.7 million. It attributes the $2 million difference to a clerical error in the Public Procurement Authority's approval letter, which it says was promptly reported for correction. Regarding the tax evasion claim, it clarifies that only 99 semi-knockdown components, mainly low-bed trailers and service equipment, were imported under bonded warehouse arrangements, eliminating any basis for tax evasion. On the allegation of over-invoicing, J. Planpole maintains that all contract prices reflect competitive market values and were vetted by all relevant authorities. Faustina Safo for Joy News. Away from that, Kumasi Anglican Senior High School may have cruised past Techiman SHS and Fia Seman SHS to qualify for the 1H stage, but the victory landed with mixed feelings. The team had set their hearts on 76 points, but ended with only 46.
Disciples.
No size.
Disciples.
No size.
I don't know, I'm not feeling their energy. So the second contest of the last day of the preliminary stage of the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz has come to an end. And Kumasi Anglican Senior High School, or Anglican Senior High School Kumasi, has just emerged winner of the contest. But they are not so excited, and we want to find out why. Why exactly are you people saying you are not excited that you've won, but you are not very excited? Why?
Let me say the contest was tough because we was not expecting such a tough contest. We thought it would be like just part to part and we go. But as we said from the beginning, we will cattle and vandal the contest. So after everything, we have cattle and vandal the contest.
Okay. Okay, I heard your coordinator and some of your teachers saying, this is not what you expected, this is not what you expect. Even you've just said this is not what you. So what were you expecting?
We are expecting a big victory, like around 70 points victory.
You got 46?
Yeah.
But you still won, or that's not what's necessary?
Oh, that's what's necessary.
We are going to work on learn from our previous mistakes and trying to improve by learning some new strategies to help us.
So what do you think was your challenge today? Let me come to you. What exactly happened today that made you see that there's a gap?
Oh, I think our problem was with the speed race. But our boys, they are very good. Maybe a mood swing or something that happened today. But all things well, it's all for the better. Because right now, the next contest will be very cautious and this will not be repeated again.